items that are on the agenda, and then there will be a communications and petitions section at the end, and that portion of the meeting will be for members of the audience who may speak on any subject. If someone wishes to address an item that is on the agenda, he should come to the podium, give his name and address, speak what is ever on his mind, to speak to the council as a whole, not to an individual. At this time, the microphone is open for anyone that wishes to address any of the items that are on today's agenda. Seeing no one, the public hearing or the citizen comment section is now closed. Next item to come before council will be old business, and there is none. Then item under new business will be resolution number
09-12.
This is resolution number 09-12. It's a resolution to clarify the policies concerning the road closure of the Howard Allen Road. At this time, does the city administrator or Melissa wish to address?
Let me start, and then Melissa can clean up after I make a mess of it.
All right.
This resolution is in response to our needs to make some road adjustments in the ETPC Industrial Park. Council may recall that there's a portion of Howard Allen Road that will be converted to rail service and will be replaced by a newly constructed road by TDOT. That portion, or a small portion of that we need to close and convert to rail, lies in Jefferson County. We've been working with the folks in Jefferson County to make sure that everyone agreed and was on board with this, and they asked for some guarantee that we would not cut off access for their citizens back to 25 and Walmart and so forth. We indicated to them that was not our intent, that we definitely wanted those people coming and shopping, spending time and money in our community. So this resolution is an attempt to express our intent not to cut those people off, but to move forward with being able to close the road and build the infrastructure necessary for Freedom Energy. Melissa, anything else that I left out of that?
No, one of the things, the only thing I would clarify is that when we originally annexed the property into Jefferson County, it was done officially by a court document that only allowed us the parcels. So this closure and abandonment of the roadway includes the roadway where we own both sides of the roadway already, but we're not granted that during the annexation. And by this closure, it will fall back into those parcels and therefore be under our jurisdiction again.
Are there any questions of council to either the city administrator or Melissa?
Just a question, Mayor. So that doesn't mean that we're not abandoning any right-of-ways or anything like that?
No, we're actually requesting Jefferson County to abandon it. That way it will fall back into the parcels that we already have ownership of and back into our jurisdiction. We are intending to keep it as a roadway until at some point in time we may need it for Freedom Energy, and then it would only be a small portion, which we have plans for another connector road to not cut off access to those citizens.
Any other questions of council? This time, Chair will entertain a motion for resolution number 09-12, a resolution to clarify policies concerning the road closure of Howard Allen. Councilmember Jinks made the motion. Do we have a second? Councilmember Bibbins, second. Is there any discussion by council? Hearing none, if you would please vote. 6 yeas, 1 abstain. Motion passes. We have no introduction and first reading of ordinances. The next item will be 9C, and it's the award of bids and contracts. The first item is to approve a rating application for the City of Moore, Contract Manager with Moody's Investors Service. The City Administrator, Gary Stein.
Yes, sir. And this is a part of the process of issuing the bonds for the sewer improvements. We've already had conversations with Moody's. This is a formality in terms of getting them to rate our bonds before they go to market. That gives the investors a feeling for the quality of the investments we're putting on the market. Based on informal discussions, we believe we're going to be able to maintain our A1 rating, which will give us a good have the ability to sell the bond, but we do need approval of this contract to get the formal rating. We recommend approval as presented.
Do I see two parts to that?
The second part is something else. I just will explain that next. That it's
Got
separate.
anything to do with it?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see if we have discussion. Are there any other questions of the city administrator?
This one does not carry a dollar figure with it, this is just the approval part.
There is a dollar figure. If you look, there's a schedule based on the amount of the bond issue. It's toward the back of the schedule, and it's $22,000, I believe, for the 31 million we're talking about issuing.
Any other questions of the city administrator? We have a motion by Councilmember James. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilmember Center. Are there any discussions by council? Hearing none, please enter your votes. 7 yeas, no nays, contract order. Next item is item number 2, and it's to approve professional service agreement between the city of Morristown and Raft Ellis. Is that right? Raft Ellis, how do I say it?
I'll go with that.
I thought, yes, okay, Financial Consultants Incorporated.
Yeah, I've only seen it on paper, so any pronunciation you give will be acceptable to this forum. This is a contract to go over our billing system and our accounts receivable for our stormwater system billing. As a part of the reorganization of finance, I'm looking at the billing from the engineering department to the finance department. This contract will review our outstanding bills, make sure we're billing the right people the right amounts, provide us some tools in order to make the transition to billing and finance, and make sure we're doing the right things in terms of collecting what we're supposed to. So it's our recommendation to approve this contract, get our data right, and move forward with billing these things in finance.
There's no dollar amount connected to this. What are we looking at there?
Jeff, just bring up the other.
Yeah, this is basically, what you'll be approving tonight is the phase 1 of the contract where he's gonna do what Tony said, analyze our data. He's gonna come up with a work plan of how to actually implement an improved system of handling our billing integration, where we synchronize our billing data with our account data. Right now, as time goes along, the connection between the billers and the master data that we have for the accounts erodes over time, because the billing agencies aren't on the same sheet music. And it's sort of it's a process that what he specializes in is creating some tools, software tools, that they can use, that we can use to synchronize the data as you move along, so that you constantly are recording different changes in the data, either on the billing side or on our side. And it's quite a complex, very technical process that this company go through to do that. But the first phase is $5,000. And for that $5,000, he will get his feet under him on what our issues are, develop a work plan with recommendations, and come to you so that you will have access to him in a meeting where he can have a dialogue with you, and he can tell us how we're moving forward and why we need to do that.
And that amounts in Article 3 on the front page of the agreement, so it specifies a lump sum of $5,000.
All right, I didn't see it on the motion, and I didn't know if it needed to be on there. Does it?
Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate.
Do you think it would be?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, Mayor, is this just for the engineering department, or is this citywide?
Well, this will be for the stormwater billing system.
The stormwater system.
So it's a fairly extensive number of customers. I've not counted them, but
It's around 10,000 customers.
Okay, so then that means we're not gonna bill for the utility companies anymore?
no, this is making sure that the basis for billing, we're billing the right people for the service, the right lots, and check to see if there've been structures built since we've built our database that weren't accounted for. Just making sure it's accurate.
Jeff, is it an issue of square footage?
No, actually, it's not an issue of the inventory of impervious areas. That's actually, but what happens over time is those inventories change. And of course, we do a lot of changes on the inventory side with the developers. You know, plan comes in, has different impervious area when we send that information to the billers, sometimes that information is not properly conveyed, and so the billing isn't exactly correct. And so when we don't find out about the either the correction, the need for correction on our side or their side until the biller figures it out, the person being billed or the biller. So this company specializes in creating some data tools, some software, if you will, that helps us report on a regular routine basis what those changes are on each side, so that we can reconcile those every month or on a very routine basis, so that those databases stay completely together all the time instead of diverging over time.
We've run into issues such as we've had one owner that had multiple pieces of property being billed for all those pieces of property when we first set it up, sells off one of, say, 4 pieces of property that were being billed together, and the buyer bought the one that was being billed for everything, so they were paying the full freight for what was aggregated. So we're trying to go back and just clear up some of those things, make sure we're being accurate, and that people are being billed for the services, and not being overbilled for services they don't have.
And this is a one-year contract,
One time.
a one-time contract. If we needed to do it, we would renegotiate or whatever.
Yeah, what he's gonna do is really come in and study where we're at today, and then he's gonna come to you with his recommendations of where we need to go moving forward, and also be available to you in a meeting, pick his brain, if you will. Because these things are so detailed and technical that it far exceeds my expertise. This guy deals with, like he said, aggregation policy is a complete, just developing a good policy on aggregation of accounts. You know, we need that kind of assistance so that we're fair and equitable, and we can, you know, properly bill our customers.
Good idea.
$5 is added, $5,000 is the figure we're gonna put in this, is that correct?
That's
I
correct.
heard you mention 10,000, but I didn't.
Now, this 5,000 just gets him on board, gets him to where he can do the analysis of the billing systems, and brings him to you at some point after he's studied and he's prepared to give you sort of moving forward. And then at that point, he can either sell his services as to, or he can lay out the work plan, we can hire somebody else to do it if that's what you would prefer. But I think once you meet him and dialogue with him a little bit, I think you'll have a pretty good sense that this guy does know what he's talking about. But it's such a technical issue that I'm afraid I can't sell his services for him. He's gonna have to come here with what our problems are, and then this 5,000 gets him up to speed and here to where he can dialogue.
So it basically just gets him started on board. Then he's gonna bring us the bad news.
Well, I'm not sure about bad news, but he's gonna give us a work plan so that it's really not bad news, because when you streamline your.
I didn't mean that way.
Yeah, because I think there might be obviously some services that we won't pay for him, but the streamlining of the billing could actually create revenue for us as we make more efficient billing decisions, and our policies are more beneficial to the city in the long run. So I think it actually has a very quick return on investment, because the erosion process of not doing it has a very large cost as well.
We're hiring an expert to help us.
Okay, any other questions of Jeff? Jeff, thank you. All right, at this time, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the professional services agreement between the city of Morristown and Reptelis Financial Consultants Incorporated for the amount of $5,000. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Center. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember LaBelle. Is there any discussion by council? Hearing none, please enter your vote. 7 yeas, no nays, contract awarded. Next item that comes before the council is on board and commission appointments. Item number 1 is the city council's reconsideration of Mayor Thomas's nomination to the Morristown Utility Commission for a 5-year term to expire on August 2016 of John Hodge. Chair will entertain a motion.
Make that motion, Mayor.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We do not have a second, therefore the motion fails. All right.
I make the motion that we reject that nominee.
We have a motion to reject the nominee, nominating nominee's name of John Hodge from nomination. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion at this time, please enter your vote, and this vote is for rejection. All right, we have 5 yeas and 2 nays. Next item come before council is item number 2, will be City Council's appointment of 1 council member to the Morristown Hamlin Emergency Medical Service Board of Directors. Do we have a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Mayor Thomas.
Second.
We have a nomination and we have a second of Mayor Thomas. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Isn't there a letter on that?
I'm
Not
sorry.
packet.
You did, yeah, you did, and the reason for that, by the way, is because whenever I first came in as mayor, I had asked council member Brooks to serve on the board. As you know, I wanted all council members to serve on at least 1 board, if at all possible. And to my urging, council member Brooks said he would do that, but it had not been convenient at the time that they meet is at 12 o'clock noon, that is his busiest time in his restaurant business, so he has not been able to make moves, and he asked that if at all possible, that he be removed from the board. And that's where we are with that.
You be nominated, can you meet that schedule?
I can meet the schedule is on the 4th Wednesday. I was apprehensive as to whether I would have time to be on all the boards that everyone wished me to serve on. It will be the 4th Wednesday of the month, and I will be able to meet that schedule.
Well, can I say something there? Can Chris, I think I wanted that, can I nominate Chris for that?
Sure, did you want?
We've already got a nomination and a second. That's what we want.
We can have a withdrawal if you want.
No, I was just saying, vote on it just like it is.
Terry said that Chris wanted this.
He obviously changed his mind.
All right, very good. Is there any other discussion?
He wouldn't likely want it if he nominated somebody else.
Is there any other discussion by council? Hearing none, would you please enter your vote? 6 yeas and 1 abstain.
Be said.
No, don't want to do that. Next item on the agenda is the city administrator's report. Tony, sorry.
Mayor, I apologize, but I have a number of things, so if you relax, take a deep breath, we'll try and get through them. The first item in your package is a budget adjustment. It's a technical amendment for 2 items. One is to allow for purchase of a computer at the sign shop down at Public Works. And the other is just making amendments to community development area for comply with the chart of accounts. So that's a technical thing. I'm merely reporting that to council. The second thing in my report is also in your package is a rough draft ordinance reflecting an issue raised by Councilman Brooks. This is an ordinance that would address council's pay. There's been a question in the past about whether it was appropriate or not for council to receive bonuses, Christmas bonus, for example. This ordinance would specify directly, specifically, what members of council would pay, the types of pay, and the amounts, and would not do away with the policy now, simply referring to being equivalent to the county. This would specify in black and white what the pay would be, and would resolve the controversy. You will see that the ordinance as it's presented has blanks in it that the council will need to fill in. So we're asking at this point for feedback from council, if you would, over the next couple of weeks, give me and or Dick some feedback in terms of your willingness to move forward with this format and the numbers that you would like to fill in the blanks with, and we will bring that back to the floor for a vote. Now, I guess it would be appropriate, Dick, if the ordinance were to pass, when would it become effective?
It will become effective on Monday, the first Monday in May of 2015.
That's in order to allow for the election cycle so that you don't vote to raise your own pays.
That's precisely right.
So that is the ordinance before you. If you would give us some feedback, and we'll respond as directed by council after you've had a chance to look at it, and we'll put it on the floor if that's your desire.
And that would address all the questions that have been raised.
That would specify explicitly what types of pay would be eligible for council and the amounts.
Did you gather, Tony, that we just fill this out and give it to Dick? Is there a procedure you want us to follow on that, or does it matter?
Yeah, I don't think you can give it to me or Dick, we'll coordinate and whichever is most convenient for you.
May I ask, since by statute, pay of council is tied to that of the county commission, is this giving us a blank check to write something in there, since we're separating us from the county?
I'll defer to, I think there are some limitations.
Yes, it would have, this ordinance doesn't contemplate anything about what county government receives in salary or benefits or pay, compensation.
So that could change then?
This would change that as in 2015.
But Dick, I guess the question is, are they free to put in any number they so desire if they're willing to convince the voters that being appropriate?
I would suggest that maybe $1 million would be, but any reasonable number, yes.
That's why I wanted to ask, because we have always been tied, and the city council only, and I'm not saying that I think that we need an increase in pay, but that needs to be a question that needs to be addressed in that situation. So is this voted on by the city voters then?
No, it's voted on by council.
And I would like to make a comment that being tied to the county right now, we have not been following that ordinance, and the county is paying the health insurance of the county commissioners. So this is a far better deal for the city than what the county is doing, because our health insurance is not being paid by the city. So that what is on here is much less than what the county is getting. So it addresses the questions that have been raised. And just for speaking currently for the public, so the mayor gets $700 and the council gets $400. Would you go over what it is?
I have to admit that I don't remember the numbers. Are they in the draft? I thought
They are.
Dick can.
It is $700 per month for the mayor, $400 for council members,